I didn't notice the first video right away. It wasn't sent to me, no notification, no alert. It was just there. I was scrolling through my account late one night, half asleep, killing time before bed. My own uploads, the usual stuff. Then I saw a thumbnail I didn't recognize. No title, no description, just a timestamp from 3 nights earlier. At first I assumed it was a glitch, a failed upload, maybe something I'd started recording by accident and forgotten about. I clicked it without thinking. The video opened to darkness. Then the image adjusted. I was looking at my living room. Not a photo, not a still frame, a moving video. The camera angle was wrong, too high, tilted slightly downward like it was mounted near the ceiling, except I don't have a camera there. I don't have cameras anywhere inside my house. The room was dim, lit only by the glow from the street lamp outside. The couch, the coffee table, the hallway entrance, all exactly where they should be. Then I saw myself. I was asleep on the couch, blanket half on, one arm hanging toward the floor. My phone was still in my hand, screen dark. I watched myself breathe. The video ran for 12 minutes. Nothing happened. No movement. No sound except the faint hum of the room, the refrigerator cycling, the tick of the wall clock. Then it ended. I stared at the screen for a long time after it stopped. My first thought was obvious. Someone broke in, someone planted a camera, someone was watching me. I checked the upload details. The account was mine. Same login, same email, same device history. No unfamiliar sign-ins, no warnings. The upload time was listed as 2:14 a.m. I checked my phone's sleep tracker. It said I'd been asleep by 1:57. I didn't sleep much after that. The next morning I went through the house like I was casing my own place. Checked vents, corners, smoke detectors, shelves, the top of the bookcase, anywhere a small camera could hide. Nothing. No wires, no lenses, no unfamiliar hardware on the network. I even checked the router logs. Every connected device was one I recognized. I told myself it was a prank, some elaborate deepfake, a coincidence layered on top of exhaustion and paranoia. That explanation lasted until I found the second video. This one had a title. It was my address. Not the street name, the full address, including the apartment number. The thumbnail showed my bedroom. I didn't click it right away. I stood in the doorway of that same bedroom instead, staring at the exact angle shown in the image. The camera perspective didn't exist. It couldn't. The angle was too far back, too high. It was like the wall itself was recording. When I finally played it, I had to sit down. The video showed me sleeping in bed. But halfway through, something changed. At exactly 4 minutes and 20 seconds, I shifted, rolled onto my side, and for just a moment, less than a second, my eyes opened. I wasn't awake. I wasn't moving normally. My eyes snapped open and stared directly at the camera, not wandering, not unfocused, locked on. Then they closed again, and my body relaxed like nothing happened. I don't remember that. I checked the timestamp. That moment hadn't happened yet. The video was dated for the following night, 22 hours in the future. I didn't go to work that day. I sat on the edge of my bed and watched the video again and again, waiting for it to change, waiting for it to correct itself, waiting for the timestamp to update. It didn't. That night, I stayed awake. I forced myself to. I drank coffee until my hands shook, turned on every light in the apartment, sat in the living room with my laptop open, refreshing the page over and over. At 2:14 a.m., my phone vibrated. A new upload, The title was already there. Living room, 2:14 a.m. The thumbnail showed the couch, showed me, sitting exactly where I was sitting now. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. The video went live, and I watched myself on screen, watching the screen. That was the moment I understood something was very wrong, because the person in the video tilted their head slightly and smiled. I slammed the laptop shut. The room went silent except for my breathing, sharp and uneven. I stood up so fast the chair scraped loudly across the floor, the sound echoing like I'd yelled. Nothing else moved. The lights stayed on. The walls didn't shift. No footsteps. No whispers. I waited for something to happen. It didn't. After a few minutes, I convinced myself to open the laptop again. My hands were shaking so badly I had to brace them against the desk. The video was still there, paused on the exact moment I'd closed the lid. Me, sitting perfectly still, eyes locked forward, smiling. I scrolled down to the comments. There was one, posted less than a minute ago. You didn't smile like that yesterday. I felt my stomach drop. The account had no profile picture, no uploads, no subscriber count. The username was just a string of numbers and letters. I refreshed the page. The comment disappeared. I tried to tell myself I was spiraling, that I was reading patterns into coincidence, that stress and sleep deprivation were doing exactly what they always do, turning harmless glitches into monsters. Then my phone vibrated again. Not a notification, a calendar alert. Leave the apartment. I never created that event. It was scheduled for 2:17 a.m., 3 minutes from now. I checked my calendar history. The event had been added from my own device, using my own account, while I was sitting in the living room. I stood up slowly and backed away from the laptop. The hallway felt longer than usual, narrower, like the walls had leaned in just enough to notice. I grabbed my keys, my jacket, my phone, anything that felt real. At 2:16, my phone buzzed again, another upload. The title read, "You're Still Here." The thumbnail showed my front door from the inside. I didn't open the video. I didn't need to, because I heard the sound first. A soft click, metal turning, the deadbolt. I spun around just as the lock finished rotating. The door didn't open, it just unlocked. I stood there, frozen, staring at it, heart pounding so hard it felt like it might push my ribs outward. I waited for the handle to turn. It didn't. After a long moment, I forced myself forward and locked it again. The sound of the bolt sliding into place felt too loud, like I'd announced myself. I checked the hallway. Empty. But something felt wrong. Not danger. Familiarity. Like I wasn't alone, but whatever was with me knew the space better than I did. My phone buzzed again. A message. From my own number. "You're not supposed to change the schedule." My mouth went dry. Another message arrived immediately after. "We record best when you follow it." I backed away until my shoulders hit the wall. My laptop chimed. Another upload. This one had no thumbnail, just text. "Bedroom, 3:02 a.m. I checked the time. 2:18. I didn't go to the bedroom. I sat on the couch instead, staring at the hallway, every muscle locked tight. I told myself I wouldn't look, that if I didn't watch, whatever this was would lose interest. At 3:02 a.m., the upload went live anyway. Curiosity won. It always does. The video showed my bedroom. The bed was empty. The camera angle was wrong again. Too high, too close to the ceiling. The room was lit only by the glow from the streetlight. Shadows stretched thin and warped. Then something moved. not me. Something stepped into frame from the left. Tall, thin, human-shaped, but wrong in subtle ways. The limbs bent too smoothly, the head tilted at an angle no neck should allow. It stood beside my bed and waited. The video timestamp kept running. 5 minutes. 10. Then the thing turned its head and looked directly at the camera, and the video ended. My phone vibrated one last time. A message. You don't need to watch ahead. You'll be there. That's when I realized something else. Every video was labeled like footage, not uploads, not recordings, surveillance, and I wasn't the one being watched anymore. I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch until morning, lights on, TV muted, phone face down on the table like it might bite me if I looked at it too long. Every few minutes I checked the door. It stayed locked, solid, normal. At 6:14 a.m., my phone buzzed again. Not a message, an alarm. One I'd never set. The label read, "Wake up." I stared at it, exhausted enough to laugh. "I am awake," I said out loud, just to prove it. The alarm stopped instantly. That should have terrified me more than it did. Instead, I felt something else. Relief. Like whatever had been watching me finally acknowledged I was paying attention. By mid-morning, the uploads were gone. The channel still existed, but every video had been removed. No thumbnails, no titles, no history. Like it had never posted anything at all, except for one thing. The About section had been updated. Ongoing experiment. I called in sick to work. I didn't explain why. I couldn't have if I tried. How do you tell your manager that an invisible audience is mapping your apartment and scheduling your movements? Around noon, my phone vibrated again. A notification from a rideshare app I hadn't used in months. Your driver has arrived. I hadn't ordered a ride. I checked the app anyway. Pickup location, my address, drop-off, blank. The driver profile picture didn't load. The name field was empty. I canceled the ride. 2 seconds later, it reappeared. I canceled again. Another notification followed immediately. Manual overrides disabled. My chest tightened. I grabbed my jacket and keys and left the apartment without thinking. I needed people, noise, something unpredictable. The street looked normal. Cars passed. A dog barked somewhere down the block. The world didn't feel staged out here. I walked for 20 minutes before checking my phone again. Another upload. Good choice. The video showed me walking. Same angle as before. Elevated, drifting slightly behind me. The footage followed me down the sidewalk in real time. I stopped. So did the video. I turned around. Nothing. No drone, no reflection, no car following me. I started walking again. The footage resumed. That's when I noticed the comments. They were live, scrolling, hundreds of them. Not cheering, not shocked, instructional. Don't stop moving. He hesitated last time. Angle's better from the left. This is the cleanest run yet. Run. I ducked into a corner shop, heart pounding. The bell over the door rang, sharp and bright. The cashier barely looked up. I checked the upload again. The camera didn't follow me inside. Instead, the feed cut to static. Text appeared over it. Restricted environment. My phone vibrated again. A private message this time, from the channel. We lose resolution indoors. That won't help later. I left the shop. The feed resumed instantly. The camera angle had changed. Lower now, closer, like it was learning. By the time I got home, my legs were shaking. Another upload waited for me. Rehearsal complete. I didn't open it. I didn't need to, because the message came right after. Tonight is live. I threw my phone onto the couch and paced the room, running through every possibility. Police, tech support, deleting accounts, factory resets. Nothing felt big enough. At 7 p.m., the lights flickered once. At 7:01, my internet dropped. At 7:02, the upload went live anyway. The title read, Episode 1. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. There wasn't documentation. It wasn't surveillance. It was a series, and somehow, I was the pilot. I didn't touch the phone. I couldn't. The idea that every movement might be feeding something made my skin crawl. I stood in the middle of my living room, arms folded tight against my chest, staring at the dark screen of the TV like it might suddenly turn on by itself. At 7:05 p.m., it did. No power light, no remote. The screen flickered to life anyway. The image was grainy, distorted, like old surveillance footage. For a second, I didn't recognize the room being shown. Then I realized why. It was my apartment, but not how it looked now. The furniture was slightly different. The couch closer to the wall. A crack in the ceiling I didn't have yet. The coffee table missing one leg, propped up on a stack of books. And sitting on that couch was me. Older, not much, maybe a few years, but enough that I could see it. Lines at the corners of my eyes. A tiredness in my posture that felt familiar in a way I didn't like. He looked straight at the camera, then he spoke. Not aloud. Subtitles appeared instead. If you're watching this, you didn't stop it. I felt my legs weaken. The older version of me leaned forward slightly. I tried to break the pattern. I really did. The feed glitched, jumped, then stabilized again. They don't record because they're curious. They record because they're deciding. I backed away until my shoulders pressed into the wall. The version of me on screen smiled, but it wasn't the same smile I'd seen before. This one was tired, resigned. Every run is cleaner than the last. Less resistance. The image froze. My phone vibrated. Against my will, I picked it up. A poll had gone live. 2 options. Stay inside, go outside. Thousands of votes, ticking upward in real time. I didn't need to guess which one was winning. Another message appeared beneath it. Audience participation improves outcomes. The TV resumed. The older me stood up and walked toward the hallway. The footage followed him. The door to the bedroom opened. Inside, the room was darker than it should have been. The walls looked wrong, too smooth, like they hadn't fully rendered yet. Shadows lagged behind motion, snapping into place a half-second late. He stopped at the doorway. This is where I failed, the subtitles read. The feed cut. The poll ended. Go outside. 87%. The front door unlocked. I didn't hear the bolt turn this time. I just knew. My phone buzzed again. Please proceed. I didn't want to. I swear I didn't. But my body moved anyway. My hand reached for the doorknob, fingers closing around cold metal. The sensation felt delayed, like my nerves were sending signals through molasses. When I opened the door, the hallway outside wasn't my hallway. It was longer. The walls stretched farther than they should have. Lights spaced too evenly, casting identical pools of illumination. Doors lined both sides, all closed, all identical. The upload counter on my phone climbed. Live viewers, thousands, comments scrolling too fast to read, except for one pinned at the top. Don't fight it. The resistance hurts more. I stepped into the hallway. The door closed behind me and vanished. The hallway stretched on forever. Every step echoed the same way, like the sound was being copied instead of produced. My footsteps didn't fade. They cut off abruptly, as if someone muted them. I tried touching the wall as I walked, just to feel something solid. The surface was smooth, warm, almost soft. My phone vibrated again. The live viewer count had stopped increasing. It was locked. A message appeared over the feed. Stability achieved. The doors along the hallway began to open. One by one, each revealed a room that looked almost like mine, but not quite. Furniture slightly rearranged, lighting a little harsher, walls closer together. Some rooms were empty. Others showed people sitting perfectly still, staring forward. None of them moved. None of them reacted when I passed. At the far end of the hallway, a final door waited. Unlike the others, this one had a label. Upload room. I knew what would be inside. I opened it anyway. The room was filled with screens. Hundreds of them, stacked floor to ceiling. Each displayed a different angle of my apartment, my living room, my bedroom, the hallway I just walked through. Then I noticed something worse. Some of the screens weren't showing my home. They showed places I didn't recognize, rooms I hadn't entered yet, future uploads. In the center of the room sat a chair, bolted to the floor. The screen above it flickered. Text appeared. Final capture pending. I backed away, shaking my head, whispering no under my breath like it might help. The door behind me closed silently. The chair lights turned on. I felt the pull before I understood it. A pressure behind my eyes, a tug in my chest, like gravity had shifted direction. My feet slid across the floor without my permission. I fought it. I swear I did. But the moment I touched the chair, everything stopped hurting. That scared me more than anything else. The screens came alive. One by one, they switched to live feeds. I saw myself sitting in the chair from above, from behind, from angles that made my body look unfamiliar, stretched slightly wrong. A message appeared across all of them at once. Run accepted. Another message followed. Viewer satisfaction, high. My phone buzzed for the last time. I looked down. A new upload notification. Title, Episode 2. The thumbnail showed my apartment, empty, clean, like no one had ever lived there. I understood then. They weren't recording me because I was special. They were recording me because I was repeatable. The screens began to fade. The room dimmed. The last thing I saw before everything went black was the live viewer count resetting, dropping back to 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. And somewhere, on someone else's screen, a notification appeared. A new video, filmed from inside their house. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. If stories like this keep you awake at night, consider subscribing to Buried Awake. New stories arrive every week. And once you start noticing the patterns, it's hard to look away.